Hi everybody, it's Maureen Wong. Okay, in my last video on the You're Awesome card done with Three Amigos and the masking, I promised a little video about how I'm making my masks now. I've tried a couple different things and this is what I'm using now. I may change in the future, but for now this is working really well for me. If you watch my masking made easy video, you'll notice that I made my masks just out of simple post-it notes, which is, you know, what we always used to do back in the day. And then I came across a video by Jennifer McGuire where she used plastic because she was stamping over and over and over and over and over again. And when you do that with a paper mask, eventually the ink bleeds through your paper mask and will get on your project. So Jennifer came up with this great idea of using plastic as a mask. And I took that idea and I tweaked it a little because I think it works better for my stamping style and what I personally prefer. This is no disrespect to Jennifer McGuire because I think her ideas are brilliant and the plastic, the method that she used worked perfectly for her. And so this is nothing about her, it's just about me personally and how I wanted to have my masks made. So previously what I had done was I took a piece of masking paper and I stamped my image on it, and then I stuck the masking paper to a piece of thin plastic. And then I cut around it, and then because the plastic isn't sticky, I had to use a piece of tape to hold my mask down. And you can see that this mask has definitely been used because there's the ink at the bottom. And I like this mask because if I stamped it multiple times, the plastic would keep the ink from going through the paper or going through the plastic and ruining my project. The only thing I didn't like though was that after repeated stamping, this area or whatever area that you're stamping over gets obscured by all the ink and you can't see it. And I'm sort of weird in that I really like to see how my image is every time I use my mask for perfect placement and whatnot. And so the new method I came up with after I finish my last video is this. And what I'm using first of all is masking paper from Inkadinkado. You could use post-it tape or I think there are other brands of masking paper out there. You can use post-its. I prefer the ones that have the full sticky back, not just the little strip at the top. But whatever you want to use is fine. So I have a piece of that masking paper. I have, again, my Three Amigos set because I think this set is just meant for them to stack on top of one another. So I'm going to be using masking all the time for this set. Even though I have the dies, I like the look of masking. So I'm making my masks from this. And I have the stamp. I took the raccoon stamp out already. My memento ink. And then my plastic is actually the plastic packaging that stamp sets come in. Because I take out all my stamp sets and put them into Avery L packaging, I don't need the packaging that it originally came in. But it turns out this plastic is really nice. It's very thin, but actually kind of sturdy. So I've been using this as my plastic masking material. And all I do is just take scissors and cut it up. So I cut off the sealed end and then I cut down the side seams, and then I will cut out a piece that will fit over my raccoon. And let me put this to the side. So there I have a piece of plastic masking material. So my steps are, I get my stamp, and of course I could be doing this on my Misty because I love using my Misty for everything, but just for the sake of this I'm just going to do it with my blocks. And so first of all I stamp my image with Memento ink, and of course I love the Memento ink for its fast drying properties. So that's dry already. Then what I do is get my ATG gun, and I'm gonna put adhesive all over. I mean, it doesn't have to be completely solid coverage, but I want to get enough coverage that the plastic will stick over most of the image. So then I get my piece of plastic and stick it over the image. And then, of course, finally I just take my scissors and cut out my mask, and I'm going to be cutting the bottom of this, and you can see that it cuts very nicely because it has the masking paper under it. The plastic doesn't slip around while I'm trying to cut it, and the paper gives it an extra layer of stability, so it's really easy to cut. So there's my mask. And the great thing about this mask is that because the plastic is on top, the ink, when you use it as a mask, is going to sit on top of the plastic. The only thing is you have to be careful to clean it off after you use it, or you might put your fingers in that ink and it'll be wet, and then you can transfer that to your project. But as long as you keep the mask clean, or you make sure not to touch those portions of the mask, you'll be fine. And then it just cleans off with a baby wipe because it's a piece of plastic. And no matter how many times I use it, it's always going to show the original detail, because I am not stamping onto the paper, and the plastic is not going to keep the image because I'm just going to keep wiping it off. And just to show you an example of this, we're going to stamp the raccoon first. Wow, this is a really little scrap of paper that I'm using, but it'll give you the idea. Oh, and then the great thing about this is you don't need a piece of tape to hold it down, because the masking paper is self-stick. So you can just stick it down to your image and not worry about having to use a piece of tape for that. So then I'm gonna let's take the kitty image. And then I'm gonna stamp it kind of crooked because that's funny. And there you can see how the cat stamped over the mask. Let me zoom in there a little bit. You can see how the cat did stamp over the plastic mask. And then I'm just going to remove it and show how indeed it did do its job, masking off so that it looks like the raccoon is standing on the cat's head. And then what I do is I just take my mask, get my baby wipe, and wipe away that ink, let it dry, and it'll be perfect to use again and again and again. So that is my little tip today for making masks that are infinitely reusable. The only thing that's going to stop it from being reused is if the sticky backing doesn't stick anymore. Then you would need to either put some sort of repositionable glue on the back of it to keep using it, or just make a new one. But as long as that back keeps sticky, you can just keep using this over and over and over and over again without having to worry about bleed through, without having any of the detail obscured by ink so that you have a hard time placing the mask when you're putting it down. And you'll get the perfect masking every time. So I hope you like this tip, and I hope you'll visit my blog over at mycasestudies.blogspot.com. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know that you guys are liking my videos. And thank you very much for watching.